Hello and welcome. Today's lesson is all about the concept of time and the fact that it's, well, just that, a concept. We kind of think as time as this real thing, and we separate past and future, and we even have different language for it. You know, we say we remember the past, which sounds so real, so solid. It's something that happened. You know, there's proof of it. You can find a video, you can find a picture. And we think of the future as being, you know, this wishy-washy thing. You know, we say visualize the future. You know, visualize feels so much more ethereal than remember. And it's just kind of this intangible, but from the perspective of your mind, there's no difference between the past and the future. And the past only affects you to the degree which you give it power. So, you know, we've all met someone who tells the same story over and over. Oh, this person broke my heart and now I can never find love. Oh, I broke my leg and I couldn't be an athlete and that's it. My life is over. And there's other people that bad things happen to and they just move on. You know, it's awful at the time and then they move on from it and it doesn't define them. And we have that power to keep the past alive with us or to let it go and to be in the present. And you know, some of this happens consciously and some of it happens subconsciously, so it's not always something that we're consciously doing, but the point is that our power comes from being in the present. And what I mean by that is that our entire life we experience as the present moment. We never get to the future. The future just arrives as more of the present. Our life unfolds one present moment at a time. The past is what happened before. The future is this idea of what's going to happen, but we never experience either of them. We only experience the present. And so the past and the future are really just a concept, and they seem real because we have calendars and we have time and we can measure it and we can look at it. But from the perspective of how you experience your life, you're always in the present. And if you want to make a change to your life, it always happens in the present. And if you want to live in a different future, like we talked about yesterday, then that change always starts in the present. And you know, so many of us live our lives completely checked out of the present. I made a whole video about this on YouTube, which I will link to, about when people say, I'll be happy when. And what happens there is people go, I'll be happy in the future when X condition is met. And they check out of the present. So they're going, I'm not happy in the present, but I'll be happy in the future. But it's a trick because the future never arrives. It just arrives as more present, which you've perpetually trained yourself to be dissatisfied with. So what does that mean for how do we navigate our lives? How do we do things differently? Well, one thing is that a plan only takes you so far. And a lot of people, when they try to get to a future that they want or to a goal that they want, is make this really specific plan and then try to force reality into the plan. But that's not reflective of how life is actually works. And we spend a lot of time then in resistance. And so a big thing that we don't want is to be in resistance of the present, in resistance of what's happening. And I'll give you an example. Maybe you get in a car accident and you're just like, no, this can't be happening, not today. And some people will have an event like that and stay in resistance to it for a huge period of time, and it feels awful to be in that place, and it takes you out of because you're still in this future that's now not coming because you've gotten a car accident and now you're going to miss that meeting, and you're living in this future where you've gone to the car accident when you've gone to the meeting, but you're upset because you're in this present that's not aligning with that, and there's just all this conflict. So the faster you can accept the present, you can accept where you are and start moving the present in the direction of where you want to go. So I'll give you another example. So, you know, another time that we really see this is, you know, if you've ever been through grief and learned about the 5 stages of grief, the first stage of grief is denial. And that's kind of our default reaction to a lot of different situations when things we don't want happens. And again, it's realizing that the longer that we're in denial of the present, the longer that we're not able to solve the problems, to take the present and steer it in the direction of what we want. And I'm just using grief as an example because it's a time that everyone experiences this. And grief, you need to go through the grieving process. That's totally normal. However, if something happens, I use the example of a car accident, but something even more simple, like, maybe you rip a dress, or a date cancels on you, or you get in a disagreement with a friend, or plans change, or something happens in your business not the way you want. You do not want to be in denial of that, in resistance to that for a long time. You want to accept what's happening, because as soon as you accept it, you can move on. I'll give you, my dog has massive problems with allergies, and he woke up this morning totally inflamed everywhere, itchy, and I was like, not today. I've got to film all these videos and do all this stuff. But of course, I practice all this stuff as well. And I went, this is what's happening. We're just going to deal with it. And I got on the phone. I got the vet. I got there, got it fixed. It didn't take as long as I thought it would. It was half the price. And so it was fine. Everything was fine. And as soon as I got out of resistance from, no, this can't be happening today, and went, this is happening today, how am I going to deal with this? I just got it done. And it wasn't a big deal. So when we have a plan, a really convoluted plan, every time life doesn't go according to the plan, which it never does, we're tempted to be in resistance, right? We're like, no, this isn't going the way I want. Instead of going, okay, here's a picture of what I want, of what I'm moving towards, as what I want my present to be one day, and I have the power in the present moment to navigate towards that. So today and moving forward, I want you to practice accepting whatever's happening as fast as you can and deal with it. You can make it almost like a game. If something unexpected happens, if an undesirable situation happens, just see how fast you can get on board with what's actually happening and deal with it, and then just observe, how is that experience different from what you might have been doing? Some of the things that I say to myself is just, like, this is what's happening, this is what we're dealing with, this is what we're doing, like, let's do it. Like the situation with my dog, I had a thought when I was on my way out the door, like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm doing this in the middle of the day, it's gonna cut in so much time. And then I just was like, this is what we're doing, we've committed to this course of action, just do it. And like I said, it was so much less. So I want you to practice doing that. Accept the present you're in, and then look at, how can I steer this present in the direction of what I want to go? We're going to get a lot more clear on our future self-vision moving forward. So that is coming, but I just want to practice these skills first because they're really important. And the other thing that I hope you've been doing that is immensely helpful for helping you be grounded in the present, from taking your mind out of anxiety, which is all about scanning the future, and depression, which can sometimes be about being really invested in the past, coming back to the present, is the 2-minute mindfulnesses. I told you they're like a superpower, and they are. Keep practicing them. They are your superpower for coming back to the present. You're doing great. Keep up the great work. I'm going to see you in the next video. Bye-bye.